tenía? Hostia, es verdad, ¿eh? Vale, pues ya nos ponemos en modo ermitaño, en modo serio. Vale. Vamos allá. Es verdad, estamos aquí con Furina y estamos charlando. Buah, es que está muy bien ambientado, ¿eh? Está muy guay ambientado. Yo pensaba que cuando se iba a hundir... cuando se iba a hundir Fontaine y todo, pensaba que iban a salir con este barco de aquí. De Espina de Razula. Iban a ir... ¡Wii! O sea, que iba a estar guay, pero no. Hemos sido engañados otra vez. ¡Epa, abajo!
I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacle.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be
Poisson.
lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of yeah, I can tell people are watching me.
La verdad es que ahora mismo Furina está en el peor sitio donde podría llegar a estar, ¿eh? Está en el peor
I'm
sitio.
sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful.
Que aparte,
I used to
nunca
be
fue el Arconte
terrified of the gaze of
Hidro
other people,
verdadera, ¿eh?
especially when they had
El Arconte Hidro,
suspicion
el verdadero
or resentment
power,
in their eyes.
estaba en la analizadora esta.
I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after
Y el
all.
verdadero papucho todopoderoso era Nubileto.
I can't let myself see only the things I want.
Look, there seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rasula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there.
Poisson. Espina de Rosula. Vale, ¿a dónde tenemos que ir ahora? Para ahí arriba. Bueno, y vamos a jugar con Degia, ¿no? Qué guapa es. Dios mío, tú. Y aparte le saltan chispitas, ¿eh? Le saltan chispitas. Tiene 26 metros arriba. Vale, hay que subir el barco. Joder, y aquí hemos perdido a nuestros compadres. Perdimos aquí a nuestros compadres, wey. No. ¿Por qué tanta maldad? Pero bueno.
I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing...
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a difference.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. All those treasured lives and memories. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, and all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came. And
You shouldn't look at it like that. You're only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear, and I became more lonely and isolated. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. I have no further use to people.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Reward? I guess so.
Furina,
Back
¿cuánto has
then,
cambiado?
I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to confide in. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was. Believe in the Furina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relations.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try. I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And at least the choice is in my hands. All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by now.
Sure. Okay, let's head back and check
Es
it out.
verdad, estamos creando una obra de arte, ¿no? En plan, a Furina le encanta la ópera. Le encanta el teatro. Me había olvidado. ¡No! No. ¡Oh! Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay. Oh, sí. Oh, sí.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips, you know?
Fish and chips, ¿eh?
Come on.
Muy típico
It's not
de
every day we get to
los
dine at
países del
Spina
norte
di
de Europa.
Rosula's expense anyway.
Lo único que
My character
saben
doesn't need to be slim and good looking. That's your job.
comer.
Are you
Patatas
kidding me
fritas.
right now? It's not your character's
Bah,
health
nunca he
I'm
probado
worried
las
about,
patatas
it's yours.
fritas
I've
hechas
spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health.
en una air
And it
fryer.
kills me to
Me
watch you
apetece.
willingly
¿Alguien
ruin
tiene
yours
air
by
fryer?
filling yourself up with...
Oh
Yo no.
no, looks like they're arguing again. We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to...
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he... Ow!
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too. Like when he imparts some solemn words of, if you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. you will face suffering and loneliness.
Wait, that sounds kind of...
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life, and she kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing it was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really...
You mentioned earlier that the troop is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in studying singing from her.
¿Quién es la directora?
I said yes. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
¿No
She
será
really
Arlequino?
was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little,
Espero que no nos estén
so
hablando
I
de
got sent to
Arlequino.
an orphanage. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty." One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next...
Yeah, for the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe.
The day you hoped would never come. How time.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need.
Furina.
Asesora teatral.
The
Ok.
Furina?
Por los 7.
Oh my god. How did...
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about
La
your
historia es
troupe
autora,
and
directora y
your
del
wonderful
grupo, así
director.
que quise ayudar.
I just...
Oh, amiga. Nosotros también.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Ah, yes, the script, of course. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she wants to become a human. Against the wish, she finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid, plants and flowers are withering, and the people begin to panic. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it, and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a consciousness of its own.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories that explore this theme.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little
Suena esta
Oceanid
historia,
is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away, and faces the greatest dilemma of her life.
And then?
La quemaron como
In
bruja.
the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover
Decidió de
and
sacrificarse para
the
salvar a
rest
su
of
mundo
humanity.
y el resto de la humanidad.
But didn't they all treat Cleo like a
Yo, como
villain?
si fuera una villana,
Why would
pues
she have
claro.
to save them after that?
Era una bruja, Paimon.
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love. One that extended to all of humanity. Surely,
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our... If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible. What about if... the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her. Her lover makes sure her...
that sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And perhaps
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death. Both arbitrary and... On the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. By the time we returned to the city, she disappeared without a trace. We looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point to her being the latest victim in the serial disappearances case.
The director was the kindest soul in the world. Yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called
Oh,
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave...
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing.
Vilmant.
Vilmont might know something, but he won't open up to me.
Vilmont? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that anyone took it harder than me. Because, well, speaking of the play being true to life, I was...
What? You kept...
Callado lo
It's
tenías.
time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the ending if we can't be honest about how we feel. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she never considered us as potential romantic partners. Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe, and I'd always be there for her. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life. And now, that day will never come.
Oh, Paulo.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by O'Reilly. I won't let anyone get in the way of that.
In that case, you have to straighten things out with Vilmont once and for all, face to face. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to reach a final decision.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Vilmont.
Are you ready to face the truth?
Yes.
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake of our final performance, I'll do whatever it takes. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
Lucy. A lucir le va a hacer. Mira el dogo, mira el dogo. Bueno, y mi hermana se tuvo que cuidar de un doguito, así que ha estado con un dogo también. La verdad que es súper chachi. La casa de mi hermana queda al lado literal de donde hoy estuve ahí haciendo cositas. Así que chachi. A ver si te decía. Sí. La semana que viene va a ser una gran semana, que sí, que sí. Yeah, baby. La semana que viene a por la nacionalidad española. Rayo españolizador. Voy a hacer... Vale. Uf, en el medio de la nada. Pues vamos para acá. Na, 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 na. Na, na. ¡Oh! ¡No! No he llegado. Busca a Vilman, pero Vilman no era el malo. Ojo, ojo, ojo.
This is tough
Patos.
going.
Joder, vale, he
Delphi.
metido una.
Are you sure you can manage in your condition?
¿Alguien quería pelea?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
What the fuck?
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me?
We're just curious, that's all.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up.
¿Nos van a, ¿nos van a dejar a utilizar a Furina?
Pains me, unfortunately. I should just stay put.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie, indeed.
Aw,
Sí le
too
vi.
bad. I was so
Sorry to leave all the
Me ha
heavy
sonado a
lifting
Pokémon
to
eso.
you.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Piece of cake. No te preocupes, pedazo de... Pero es que esto es muy sencillo. No, no los quiero matar, no los quiero matar. Que no los mates, hombre. Joder, es que le... ¡Ah! Que tenemos más. Lo que quiero...
Bravo! Good show!
Hey,
You certainly live up to your
puta degia, tío.
reputation.
Puta degia, tío. Como mola.
yeah, thank
Como mola.
you.
Como mola.
Anyway, the
Burbujita.
path is cleared now.
Burbujita.
So onwards and upwards.
Hay que subir ahí arriba. ¿Qué hay aquí?
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's the...
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troop. We now have everyone except...
Solo faltas tú. Duffy le
So,
explica no sé qué,
You
entonces
think
que averigua
knowing
la
the
verdad
truth
sobre
about the
la
director's
desaparición de...
disappearance will... I care just as much as everyone else about making the little Oceanida a success. If I open this can of worms now, I just...
Vilma, avoiding the truth will... Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death...
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Vilma. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame, but now I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything. The little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances. It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. It was only when the merchant came to deliver the goods that I realized the drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink that...
I freaked out when, but she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our... I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe, but things only got worse from there. The synth, I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared... Yeah, I got Aurelie killed.
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew. What do you mean? You were afraid. This was a life and death situation. How could you be so stupid?
Please, try not to get too...
Yeah, listen to him. You need to...
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered, and he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut.
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want, end my life, so I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost!
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real... You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that?
I'm sorry.
On stage, The lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used, but in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much what she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. To shield you all from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her. And that's what you should be celebrating. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but...
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, if she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont...
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness.
What you said.
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but...
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. The end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the ship.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. If you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind,
You
¿Ves?
really
Esto
think
ya
that's
se hace muy
possible?
bola, ¿eh?
I trust
Que vale,
that
que le están
nobody
intentando
would
dar el
object to
contexto al
the
este,
ending of the
pero...
story.
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your capable hands.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you,
El brazo memorial debería estar destruido en analizadora, ¿eh? Que no es por nada. Si no está destruida... Ah, no, no era aquí. No, pero me daba curiosidad. Quiero ir a la ópera esta y quiero ver si está destruida o no, ¿eh? ¿No se había destruido? Yo creo que sí. Pam pam param pam 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 para pam 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 param pam pam. A la zona de arriba se podría subir. Yo creo que bien, ¿no? O sea que luego te podías tirar como de... ¿Sigue en pie? ¿No se había destruido? ¡Hola, gente! Soy vuestro amo. Todopoderoso Guasón. Vale. Espera acá. Ahora me dio curiosidad, ¿no? Me dio curiosidad. Una multi de respeto y lo gana. Qué cabrón el puto. Ganándolos todas. El Memorial Palau. ¿Qué hora es? Las 10:04. Ya debería estar de camino el Durumcito. A ver. A ver. Pedido confirmado. No, todavía no.
You want to review still?
So, this is all O'Reilly left behind. Just
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too! Looks like they show with a different...
let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from... Aha! I found something. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions if we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proved...
Lachey took so many lives.
Bashir.
It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
Mira,
I
Paimon
guess
con cara de
O'Reilly must have
Furnida.
written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of... wait, it cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible, but her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
No sé, es bastante igual. Ya lo habéis leído, ¿verdad?
So terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her. I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been. Wait. This...
Lo hago porque soy su hermana mayor. Los amo.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one.
Isn't that the most important line in the little...
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust, admiration. Let's go. It's time for them to learn to...
Aurealia. Ahí está. La, 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 la. Me he fijado en una cosa, la sombra de Degia no aparecía hasta un punto en concreto.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience.
Even in the last moment.
She did her best to protect. We know what choice her little. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past.
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings.
Then it seems like we've reached...
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen me?
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching if you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself
Ojalá,
in the
Furina,
role.
ojalá.
And aren't human emotions love, hate? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina. And thank you for supporting us through all this.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. I'm just filling in for her. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if If you're sure you're okay with that, I have no objection to it.
Ow.
Now we're talking like a serious acting troupe. All right, I'll leave you to
Grandes.
fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage.
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
No, that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I have no problem with it then.
Renato. Mira la
I'll
carita
take
de
your
este.
silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on, we'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette. I know just where to find him. Look at that. Looks like I guessed right.
Ojito,
You were just
Directo ahí.
guessing?
Todo el día ahí pastando. El pastor.
I knew you'd be here.
Sé que estarías aquí.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Furina. And you too, traveler in Paimon.
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event. You see,
Ojo, vamos a ver una actuación de nuevo,
I understand.
Bonito.
The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat... The story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it performed on stage. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
what do you mean? Do I look
Desde cuando
excited?
esta Cid cobra gasto
Yes.
de sesión.
And this is the first time...
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. So I wanted to learn a little bit more. In the past, we saw... Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained...
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding...
Why would you suddenly ask a question like that?
Well, if the Little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist, Cleo, are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to...
Haven't I already made myself clear? Nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I must admit, though, I'm a little envious.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paperwork to the troupe once the details are.
Thanks, Nervalak.
You are very welcome.
O sea, que vamos a ir a la ópera y vamos a liar la truparda. Qué bien, ¿no? Que va a estar bastante guapardo. Así que, let's go. Se me oye bien, ¿verdad? Sun on fire.
Good news, everyone. It's done. The opera epiclese is booked. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Neuvillette was moved to provide us with a fitting stage for this special performance. We've had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity, but we now have all of the ingredients necessary to stage a truly spectacular performance. A touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, a passionate and dedicated cast. Now, let's work together and make this show the best it can be.
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiumon and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience now.
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation? That's great!
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far. I never could have pictured this scene a few days ago.
It's amazing! Even though Furina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's really fired everyone up!
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have. We really value your input.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to
Ya
practice the opening
llegó la
number.
comida. Ya llegó la comida. Vale, están haciendo la previa. Están buenas las patatas, ¿eh? Joder.
Cursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back, she'll have to show herself.
Leave this place, O little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen such a fine performance in a long time. If only...
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take the stage!
Why does it have to be now?
Hey, what's going on? You're due on stage any second now. Oh no, not again. But why? What about your new meds? Did they stop working?
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my dose.
Tenía una enfermedad
I thought
degenerativa,
they
¿no?
cure it. So they were only managing your symptoms?
O sea, que se puede ir a
I
la...
figured whatever it took to get me through this final performance.
How could you do this to yourself? And
Bueno,
after
¿sabéis
that
lo que me
lecture you gave
apetecía
me
de
about
comer
not
esto,
looking
pero
after
mazo.
my health?
Mazo.
I'm
La otra vez creo que la
sorry.
semana pasada también
I've
comimos
let
esto.
everyone down.
O sea, que chachi
You-
pistachi.
This is a conversation for another time. How can the show go on without its star performer?
Miss Furina, I'd like to make a request of you.
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what you're going to ask. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh,
Correct.
Yeah, I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line. But I guess another guy in the troupe with a similar voice register could take it. Why?
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll sing the finale. From the sublime to the ridiculous. After all that, everything's come full circle.
Thank you, Miss Furina. I'm so sorry to put you in this position after everything you said.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting in too deep. No one likes regrets, myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's part by heart.
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. After all, this show is dedicated to the life and legacy of our director. What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
It's her pure heart. Despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure, she never once stopped believing in the beauty in this world.
Well said.
Estoy comiendo, ¿eh? O sea,
I
estoy aquí.
leave director
Entonces-
O'Reilly in your hands.
Bueno. Bueno.
Is she here yet?
Let's get here!
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonneras-tu, ô chère mère? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies, et la cité elle est nourrie, ainsi que toi, mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Moi, je serai toujours là, à voir le monde et sa beauté.
Qué bonito, tío. Está muy bien, ¿eh? Hostia.
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Furina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere? Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on?
I don't know, maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. Hopefully, not too many people recognized me. It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make for myself, even if I had no choice. Still, I have to admit that, despite everything, it felt good to be back on the stage again.
Finally,
Espérate, todo
we
eso
would
se lo
like to give a
está
special
diciendo
thanks
como
to
a sí
our
misma, ¿no?
artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
¡Ole!
Hey, that's not what we agreed on!
Sí, hombre. Has vuelto en todo lo grande.
Oh, so it was Furina after all.
She's back!
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving of recognition.
Yes, I know the rule, but it should still be applied on a case.
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them for me.
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly gave Paimon a heart attack. Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision.
Oh, that. I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it? I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
Oh, let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing the stage.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end of the show went. If nothing else, we can safely say that we accomplished what we set out to do.
Vale. Ha estado chulo, ¿eh? Lo que sí no recuerdo si... Bueno. Habría que verlo. Oh, hostia, pero esto está lejos. Claro, esto está lejos, esto está aquí. O sea, yo yendo a la puerta pensando que había que salir afuera.
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs a...
How did the performance go? Was it as...
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic. Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name, even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your performance. It's safe to say.
Well, one way or another, we did it. I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expect things to go smoothly in life.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much.
Oh, don't you start. I don't have the energy to argue with...
Aw, you two clearly care a lot about each other.
Sí, la verdad es que sí, ¿eh?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine like wildfire. You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the little Oceanid to the bigger theater troupes out there.
No, we should still disband.
Yeah, it's what we all agreed.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space.
Hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. What about you, Miss Furina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure a slew of consultancy requests will hound me wherever I go, until I finally acquiesce. You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that this whole maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, maybe the show will go on. Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, seeking only to... But from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people. I want to watch them blossom and wither, see them refine. I'm sure this is what captivated director O'Reilly as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
Justo le estaba sacando el papel al bala lo que quedaba de Durm, así que darme un momento. Buah, está buenísimo. Esta mierda está buena.
Then it's a deal. If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor it.
¡Qué bonito! ¡Y la hemos terminado! ¡Hostia! Hostia, ha estado bien, ¿eh? Ha estado bastante bien. Voy a intentar colocar a Deja, a ver. Oh, con las pinitas. Bueno. Mientras que estoy comiendo, he terminado de comer, mejor dicho. O sea, a mí me ha gustado, ha estado bastante bien. La verdad.
My people are used to the desert life, but still, I hope that one day they'll be able to find an oasis of their own and leave the sandstorms behind for a better life.
Vale. Em, vale. He terminado de comer, me falta solamente las patatitas fritas, pero están bien, es como haberme visto una mini peli de estas, así que dejé, hola, guapa. Dejamos a Furina aquí solita y nos vamos para otro lado. Vale, a ver, considero que por hoy ya hemos terminado. Es decir, justo 3 horas. Hemos probado a Degia y la seguiría jugando un poco más. La podemos probar un poquito en el abismo antes de irnos. Hemos cumplido, hemos hecho misión de Furina principal. Tema de exploración no hemos hecho. Hemos cumplido con los eventos que tienen dependencia de tiempo en temas de misiones y tal. O sea, que guay. Hemos charlado, hemos hecho cositas, así que bastante guay. No hemos hecho lo único que exploración, ya sabéis que estoy ajetreado, o sea, literal que ese 8% es terrible. Le tengo que dar más caña, pero al menos si lo dejo así, sé que desde aquí hasta aquí. Y yo creo que no es tan difícil de explorar esta zona, la verdad, no creo. Había muchísimas cosas ahí para hacer y tal, y Pascual. Y creo que va a estar bien, en plan que no me abra todavía esta zona. Que haga primero esta. Por lo tanto, ¿qué vamos a hacer la próximo día? Que puede ser este fin de y nos podemos pasar unas buenas horas. Yo a lo mejor hago un poco de exploración ya por parte de mi cuenta. Si tengo algo de tiempo libre, con mi tiempo libre. Me gustaría tirar, o sea, tirar no. Conseguir unas tiraditas para Honkai Star Rail. ¿Vale? Porque estoy a eso, unas 5 tiradas de conseguir el 5 estrellas asegurado. Y no sé si hacerlo o no, ir a por la E2 de Kafka. Y no sé, no se me ocurre nada más. Hay mucho trabajo que hacer, pero un montón. Me gustaría tener las misiones legendarias terminadas. Me gustaría terminar las misiones de mundo. Me gustaría explorar para ir sacándome zonas de encima. Todavía tengo estos encuentros, pero creo que van a ser más para verano. Y sí, ya os hablo de fecha de verano, inclusive. Esto para fecha de verano, esto intentémoslo hacer la semana que viene o el fin de, al menos la de Navia, yo creo que van a ser 2 horitas o algo así, o 2 horas y media. Las misiones de mundo las dejaremos después de hacer las legendarias. Al menos hasta haremos las legendarias al menos, uy, hasta esta señora que no sé cómo se llama, Xian Yun. Hasta Xian Yun. Una vez que terminemos la de Xian Yun ya le damos a las de mundo y tal. Temas de protos vamos bien. He calculado que me da para el asegurado exacto. Si voy a 2 pitis 80 para la 4.6 para Arlequino. O sea que eso también chachi. Y nada, y creo que el abismo se reinicia el miércoles, ¿no? Le quedan 6 días. Pues una semana más o menos. El jueves que viene. El jueves que viene lo tenemos el avis. Así que chachi pistachi. Y ya no hay nada más que hablar. Me apetece, la verdad, me apetece mil ahora mismo ir a pegarme con Degia un momento al abismo en la primera planta. Sin hacerme la segunda ni nada. Con este mismo equipo. A ver si me lo consigo pasar en 8.40 y algo. 8.40. De 8 y medio no puedo bajar. El problema son estos bichos, pero bueno. Voy a probar. ¿Dónde está? Idegia. Y aquí... En la segunda parte... Podríamos meter... Una... Yelan, Shinkyu... A Yaka y Jutao. Que van a ser personajes que vayan a meter muchísimo daño. Pero voy a probar igualmente solamente la parte de arriba, que si me lo hacen en 8,5 me vale. Vale, voy a limpiarme las manos. Manos limpias. Habilidad elemental del personaje. No me vale. No me vale. Bueno, pues sí, es lo único que hay. Venga, vamos a probarlo.
There is no escape. Teamwork is trick. Justice will. You asked for it. Let's get it on. Hi. Torn to oblivion. Illusion shattered. Everybody stand back. Let's stop right there. You asked. Dead meat.
No sé si lo van a tener, No lo sé.
Shine down. Now you shall perish.
Ya como les baja,
Teamwork is trick. Final warning. Hands up. Buckle up. You asked.
Ojo, funciona muy bien, Funcionan muy bien.
There is no escape. Inazuma shines eternal.
Funcionan muy bien. Pero muy bien. O sea, sé que se puede mejorar en plan el daño de los personajes. Se puede mejorar, ¿vale? Si me los deja... Es que me los deja, Es que me los deja. 8,5, 8,29, 8,20. Funcionan muy bien. Funcionan muy bien. O sea, se puede mejorar, Se puede mejorar tremendo. Se puede mejorar. Y en la segunda parte a ver si me daría tiempo con este equipo. Yo creo que sí, Sí debería de dar. Mira. En 30 segundos ya le hemos bajado más de la mitad de la vida. En 30 segundos ya le hemos bajado más de la mitad de la vida. Va a ser esto que nos va a dar bastante igual, porque tenemos a Yelan, que es un puto tanque, que luego que si nos queda lejos el bicho o lo que sea, utilizamos la elemental para acercarnos rápidamente. Vale. Vale, he fallado. Y hacemos así. Así. Ok. Vale, aquí nos tenemos que meter dentro y a pegar en todo el bicho para que caiga. Vale, a ver si podemos crear una elemental y luego una ulti. Y con esto ya está. Con esto ya está, nos valdría. Ya está. Vale. Vale. No sé cómo luego va a ir el tema de la recarga de energía en los dos equipos. Si hemos ido bien o no. Hemos sido un poco justos. Sé que se puede mejorar la marca del primer equipo en la primera parte. Jutao ha hecho 99k sin la Homa, que la tiene Senge. Y ha estado pegando sin Homa y los artefactos. Joder. Y aún así bien. O sea que chachi pistachi, gente. Me ha gustado mucho, ¿eh? Me ha gustado mucho el... De verdad. El equipo este de Raiden, Bennett, Chevreuse y Dehya puede ser un... Perfectamente Shogun, Bennett, Chevreuse, Arlequino para la 4.6. Que se puede cambiar a Shogun por Clorinde. Por Clorindo. Pues puede ser. Dejando ahí los tótems. Y que esté pegando solamente on-field la señorita. Pero da mucho juego, ¿eh? O sea, un 20% más en la ultimate de Dehya. Y todos estos son buffers. Las buffan hasta tomar por culo. Estaría mejor, ya decirlo, que vale, estas estadísticas están perfectas en relación tanto al daño como estadísticamente, tal. Le falta un daño piro. Le falta. Estaría guay tener la C6 de esta. Si tuviésemos la C6 de esta, buah, sería flipante. Pero bueno. Me ha gustado mucho,